up, y'all? It's Omar. I know, a little bit of a different setup, but anyways, for this video, I want to talk about, when you get stressed in your life, are you really thinking about God, or are you thinking about, whatever's going on, whatever's causing the stress? Because I was reading Matthew chapter 4, and I got to verses 25 through what was it, 32, and it said, and if you don't know, those are the verses where Jesus walks on water, Peter briefly walks on water, and then suddenly falls or starts to sink. To quote it exactly, and I want to talk about. You're probably wondering what's the correlation between the two, but the correlation lies because when we focus. You ever notice when we focus on everything that is outside of God, that's when our stress begins, like truly, and it starts to feed, we start to feed our stress, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. Well, that's exactly what happened basically to Peter, because when, all the disciples were sitting out on the boat, or sitting, it was on the boat, and Peter cried out to God, or cried out to Jesus, and he said, if you're not a ghost, because they thought he was a ghost, he said, if you're not a ghost, call me to walk on water. And Jesus said, okay. And then Peter walked on water briefly, and then it says he saw the strong wind and the waves. He terrified and began to sink. And this is a breaking point, right? This is a breaking, this is a turning point. That's the word I was looking for. A turning point in this whole thing, because you notice the moment he took his eyes off of Jesus and what Jesus was calling him to do, that's when he started to fall. I hope y'all just noticed that. And when we start to stress, when you start to stress from now on, think about God. Think about his plan for you, and think about his good news that he has brought you through the Bible and through everything else, all the blessings and everything. Because the moment you take your eyes off of God, you're giving the devil, a chance to sweep on in there and fill your mind with all the worries and anxiety, which is one of the biggest false prophets ever. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed.